What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you a World of Tanks gameplay commentary, a viewer-submitted replay by Bondar007, a regular submitter. It is a standard battle on Corellia. I'm sorry, an assault battle on Corellia, and he is on the defense. It is a tier 7 match, therefore he is top tier, and his British medium tank, the Comet, from what I have seen, a reliable vehicle. I don't think it's overpowered, but I do think it is very easy to play well in it, or rather maybe not easy, but you can play well in it if you know what you're doing. It's a very capable vehicle, let's just say that. Actually, this match, not a lot of tier 7s, so being top tier, kind of a good thing. Now, you probably noticed if you're paying attention to the chat, Bondar said defend the base, because some people get a little over aggressive on the defense on assault mode and push out a little bit too far, get themselves killed. That 3002D might be doing just that down on the one line down to the south, but we shall see. And I'm not sure what this KV-85 is doing other than not having gun depression to aim down, because I have one, I know. Yeah, Bondar telling him to fall back. Definitely not a smart place for that heavy tank to be. He clearly does not have a good idea of how to play that vehicle effectively, or maybe he was just goofing off. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but from that little excerpt of his performance, probably not the best player in that vehicle. Just a guess. However, we do have an M5 Stuart Scout pushing up, trying to get good spotting information for his team. In fact, I have to say this is very valuable spotting information for his team, because it lets his team know just how many of Bondar's teammates are still on base, to include Bondar himself. Looks like, ooh, yeah, there goes that artillery. Did get a spot on it. So again, very valuable spotting information. More rounds flying towards that direction. This Churchill 7 looking like he's a bot. Honestly, the way he's just sitting back here like that, I would easily accuse him of being a bot. And unfortunately, that ruins the game for a lot of players, whether or not they're on your team or the enemy team. It just kind of ruins the game for everyone. And it looks like the enemy team pushing a few vehicles, a Cheeto and a KV-2, to the north. The Cheeto doing a pretty good flank on the Elk. Not sure he's going to get away. The Cheeto, however, quite exposed. Ooh, Bondar getting the beautiful track there. A little bit of RNG always in play in this game, but beautiful at that moment. Looking like he's trying to hit a Black Prince from this distance with the Comet's gun. Now, I have never driven the Comet. Let's just get a good intel. Okay, so penetration. 148, not the best, definitely going to be more than enough to penetrate that Cheeto, but certainly not a whole lot that's going to be able to do much against the front armor of the Black Prince. I mean, it's just, I don't see him doing much to it at all. Enemy Comet on the hill, taking shots at him, definitely exposed. Bondar playing a little bit too risky, just sitting out in the open like that. We'll see if he can turn it around and actually manage to do a little bit more to this enemy team and be a bit more effective. The KV-2, a large threat, especially if it is running the derp gun, but let's be honest, it's a KV-2, it's running the derp gun. And Bondar got to be careful here, doesn't want to get derped, and continues to drive on right past. Good move, looking to get a flank on something, probably the KV-2. Yep, he's looking to go around, but the KV-2 is still aiming at him. He has to be very cautious here. Okay, and the derp does fly away. Bondar knows he has a long reload, moving in to engage, but he is surrounded by enemy vehicles. Black Prince, not the most mobile, but certainly going to give him some trouble if he decides to try and hop down and save his KV-2 ally. Bondar looking like, ooh, he's getting dangerous. He's getting dangerous. Is he gonna? I'm assuming he's gonna live. There we go. I was gonna say, probably wouldn't have sent me this replay if he is going to die right there, unless he continued to observe his team and saw something interesting come from it. And if you guys have those games, definitely that is something worth commentating. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be your performance in the replay that gets the commentary, but let's face facts. A lot of people just go back to garage after they die in a match. The enemy team, the Comet and Black Prince, still very much alive. There's a lot of British in this match, isn't there? But Bondar being a little bit ballsy here. He does have a hit point advantage on this Comet, but only recently because his teammates shot it. Ooh, an artillery support. And Bondar yet again stressing to his team to defend the base, even though he's not exactly living by his own advice, but he's trying to basically encourage them to keep the base alive long enough while he handles these British tanks over here, these enemies, and then comes back to save the base. Or rather, maybe they can save it without him and he just gets some nice damage and kills. He will kill the Black Prince. Ooh, just barely rolling too low to kill him, and the Black Prince will get off one more shot. Bondar very intelligently using the Black Prince as a kind of shield, and it looks like his enemy Comet hitting that enemy vehicle and only skimming him as well. So Bondar taking very minimal damage for the amount of enemy shells fired at him thus far, just because of the way they were missing, ricocheting, hitting dead husks of allies. And it is now 9-9, hit points about even as well. A lot of artillery, most of the enemy team, about half artillery at this point. Bondar's team definitely has a tank advantage, enemy team artillery advantage. And honestly, if the enemy team plays intelligently, pushes up spots and then holds while their remaining artillery forces take them out, they can still win. However, considering the enemy team only has one tier 9 left, then wow, I said tier 9 because I immediately thought T29. Please forgive my constant stupidity as I attempt to become better at commentaries and in the meantime struggle through it. But you guys seem to enjoy it to an extent anyway, so thank you. Getting back to the match and tangent over with, enemy T29 is the only tier 7 tank left. They have a tier 7 artillery, but that is not really a active force in the game. It's a very supporting passive role. I mean, sure, it can go TD mode, but that is ill-advised. The enemy team then only has 2 tier 5 vehicles capable of really being aggressive, one of which is driving right through the center. Looks like it was probably spotted by that Churchill 7 and is very exposed now. He's pretty much, I don't think he's going to live past Bondar here. I'm pretty sure Bondar will probably get the kill. I'm kind of hoping he does. I want him to. There we go. Triple kill, over 2,400 damage for a tier 7 vehicle. Impressive, commendable. And the KV-85 kind of still sitting on that southern flank, ready for the T-29. Bondar, again, stressing to his team, defend the base. Maybe beating a dead horse at this point, but you know what? Such is the way of it. Honestly, kudos to him for proactively trying to encourage his team and encourage team play. I think, honestly, Random Battles has a little bit too much of 15 individuals rather than a team of 15. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overly cynical. But right now, Bondar having beautiful shots on this 3001H, who, despite seeing his stuck ally drive through the center and get annihilated, decided, I'm going to do that same thing, and oh no, I'm getting shot and dying. I wonder why. Regardless of why he decided to do such a thing, Crusader driving backwards. I've heard it drives faster backwards, or at least with the gun pointing backwards. So that's what I'm assuming is happening here. And he will die as well. So ultra kill number 4, and over 3,300 damage for Bondar. Only 2 AP shells left, and then it's all APCR and HE. But I don't think anyone can claim that the Comet has any sort of ammo shortage here. More than enough rounds to do plenty of damage as a tier 7 vehicle. And we'll see. Actually, I'm kind of curious, what is the damage, I mean the penetration on the APCR rounds? 208, actually very respectable for a tier 7 medium tank. And the Hummel here, looking like he wants to go a little TD mode. He is definitely aiming at Bondar, no doubt about it. That gun barrel is honed in on him. The Hummel apparently not quite having the shot, not comfortable with risking it. I'm pretty sure there was, judging by the angle anyway, it looked like he could have lobbed around. And I'm kind of wondering where this enemy T-29 is. I know he was last spotted in Hotel 2, 1 line, that area. Yep, and he's still there. So apparently being a bit cowardly? I don't know. Honestly, if I was in his position, I would either be trying to look for an avenue of attack, or, I mean, I would rarely do this, but if I really did not think there was any chance of me winning and I didn't see any sense in me dying for an already losing team, I would fall back to base, get into a very defensive position, and try and take out as many as I could with me as they tried to take out my artillery and came and suddenly stumbled upon me and be like, oh no, heavy tank here. Enemy heavy tank when I wanted to shoot and kill artillery. Yeah, no. Anyway, the Su-8 moving away and looking like he's going to try and turn around and take out a 304, but 304 is kind of king of tier 6 artillery. And by that I mean it's just amazing at killing its own kind. It's very mobile. It's kind of like a Scout TD Artie in a sense, or at least can be played as such. Or, I don't know, it might have been nerfed, but this is also back in 9.5? 9.5, yes. I had to remind myself. And time runs out. Bondar's team wins because, well, it's a defense. And we're going to go to post-game stats and see how everyone racked and stacked. And looking at those stats, we definitely see high caliber. I could have told you that just because in a tier 7 match, which is predominantly mostly tier 6 and 5, and you do over 3,500 damage, you're going to get high caliber every time, all the time. Mastery Badge, Ace Tanker, no surprise there just because of how effective he was for his team. 4 kills and that much damage, it's going to happen. And going to team score to see how well everyone else did. I mean, sure, he got Fire for Effect, Fire, and Bruiser as well. I suppose I should cover those as well when I cover everything earned. I kind of gloss over them a lot because, I don't know, when I am judging my own performance, I don't really stress those too much. Anyway, but maybe I should. I'll work on it. Let me know in the comments below, I guess. Looking at Bondar's performance. Yeah, just 3,500. The closest competitor on his team, 1,000 damage. 1,017. Only a few other people got close to that, really, and then everyone else just not happening. GW Panther, not really his fault, but kind of his fault for being so exposed, and that scout tank going up and spotting him the way he did. Kind of shared blame there, and also kind of just a credit to some skill on the enemy team. I mean, there's always many factors that go into that. Honestly, though, if I was that GW Panther, I would not have been in such an exposed position. Yes, I know he was in a commonly favored Artie spot, but you also will notice Artie that go in that spot have a high fatality rate, and there is good reason for that. Sure, it's an effective artillery spot, you can support your team very well, but your team also has to keep you safe, and I don't like relying on my team to do that when I'm artillery. Tangent over with T29 on the enemy team, being pretty effective in terms of damage, managing to live throughout that match, so I guess he subscribed to the mentality of, I'm not dying for this terrible team. And I mean, what a terrible team. KV2 got off like one shot at Bondar. Yep, the one shot at Bondar was the KV2's only shot. And then he died with doing 0 damage. The Stewart, well, 0 damage, but he got the artillery killed and got his team some good spotting information. So actually quite valuable. That 301H and the Hellcat kind of apparently dying pretty uselessly. And I mean, you just see everything going on here. If I'm not going to expound on every specific tank's individual performance, that would just take far too long. You guys can look at that in the video if you want. And right here we see 40 shots fired, 29 of those hits, and 26 pens, so not too bad of a ratio for a tier 7 medium fighting at the distances Bondar was. And to put that into perspective, about half of his damage, a little less than half, was done at a distance of 300 meters or more. So he was being quite the sniper medium tank, but also you saw he was brawling pretty effectively too. So he was just an all-around good medium tank player, kind of a jack of all trades sort of match for him. He was in close, he was fighting from a distance, he was doing what he needed to do to win it for his team. And yeah, he got a little bit ballsy and could have gotten himself killed. And I'm not sure I just Englished right there, but I'm a little bit tired, so please forgive me. I am trying my best to keep you guys with replays and commentaries and videos, but life is taking up a lot of time since I really cannot do YouTube as my job. It does not pay bills. But it's life stuff over with. 3 vehicles spotted, 9 vehicles damage, 4 kills. So if he had gotten 1 less kill and only damaged one of those vehicles, he would have gotten himself a Confederate. But over 1,500 damage due to players' assistance and a total of 4.1 kilometers of distance traveled. Quite a bit of credits earned, would have earned more had he been running a premium account. Same can be said for experience. Ooh, that would have been a nice experience payout with the ×2, but still very nice even without. And I am going to say very well played, good sir, but that will just about wrap it up for this video. Thank you for watching. If you got a replay you think I should do a commentary on, please check the description below for instructions on how to submit. One of these days I will update those directions, but not today. Or maybe it is today, it depends on when you watch this video. And if you got any, what was I gonna say? There was something else, but it slips my mind, so I'm just gonna say, any what's it, this has been Spang, and clearly I am oh so professional. Until next time, my viewers. MLG Dynamo!